Welcome back. You're still tuned into News and Views with myself, Salailo Makudiri. And our favorite solidarity mission is once again drawing global attention. The Global Sumud Flotilla, I'm sure you know about it by now, brings together activists from across the world aiming to challenge the ongoing blockade and put a spotlight on the humanitarian crisis that's facing Palestinians, especially those that are in Gaza at this moment. And for those on board, it's both a political act and a moral statement, one that carries significant legal, diplomatic, and personal risk. I'm sure you've seen with the previous flotillas that we tracked here at Salam Media, people getting arrested, people getting abused, and everything and anything that we saw happening there. Well, the mission, that voyage is ongoing and it's not stopping. And we'll be speaking to one of those activists who are on the latest one, Mariona Tasquer, a 20-year-old University of Barcelona and a longtime Palestine solidarity activist who has been part and parcel of helping students mobilize movements and international networks in support of the Palestinian cause. And she's joining us right now in international waters. We're going to be getting a bit of insights on her journey, how she ultimately found herself involved with the Global Sumud Flotilla, and most importantly, to track these boats. I think that's our mission as media, as civilians who are, back on land, that have access to the internet and that can make noise and be loud, is putting as much attention and focus on these boats and trying to track them as much as we can until they reach their destination, which is Gaza, and they ultimately break that blockade. And Mariona is joining us via our virtual platform. Mariona, hi. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to News and Views.
Hi, thank you to you for inviting me here. It's a pleasure.
No, the pleasure is all ours. I can see you are in international waters right now. Do you have an idea where exactly are you guys are right now, and where are you headed?
We are near to start arriving to Greece, but it's still international water. We just left Italia 2, 3 days ago, and now we are on our way to Greece for joining with more boats that are joining also the mission.
Ah, perfect. Beautiful stuff. I want to start with the basics. I've spoken with a lot of activists, a lot of people who were part of the Global Sumud Flotilla. I think the previous two ones, we've tracked them quite extensively here on Salam Media. And I always ask the question, why does one get involved in such a mission? Because the answers are always varying and they're so different. And I want to hear yours. Why get involved with the Global Sumud Flotilla?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that for me, the Palestinian struggle is nowadays the all human struggle, the struggle for humanitarian rights. And as we see with the last flotilla, this kind of movement not can also try to break the seas, but also can be a catalyst for creating and start building lots of movements in land, in schools, universities, in workplaces. For example, with the last flotilla, we had a lot of strikes around the world. In Barcelona, we had a general strike. Also, we have the example of the Italian workers with the Bloqueam Punto. So I think this kind of initiatives are so important, not just by what they are in fact, but also because what they help to create, what they help to build the land, and how can be also a motor for people to standing up for things that maybe we were not starting up before, but this is like a reality hitting them. So I think it's very important also for that, apart of obviously to trying to break the illegal siege of Gaza and to put all eyes again in Palestine.
Very, very important to note that. Marion, how do you even begin preparing yourself psychologically for this kind of mission, knowing just how strenuous it can be, knowing the dangers that are involved. I think in the previous flotilla, there were people that were arrested, there were people that were abused, we had boats that were being attacked with drones. Knowing all of that and still deciding that you're going to go through and be part of the next mission, which is bigger than the previous one. How do you get to that point? And what do you even say to your family?
Well, the family thing, it I think goes apart. In my case, my family just accept my decision because they know I'm a very political girl since little. But like thinking about the risks, the possibilities of attacks, and all of that, I think that most of the people who join this mission, we have the same thought about that the risk we are going through are not a minimum part of the risk and the dangers that the Palestinian life day a day with the Israeli violence against them, with the settlement violence against them. So it's, I think, something the Palestinian resistance that encourages all of us to not being afraid uh, about this risk. Also, in my case, I think that the violence that Palestinians suffers became it's part from the same system that exercise violence against people in all the world, the same violence that has attacked Venezuela, Cuba, that now is attacking Lebanon, Iraq, and it's all part from a same system. So in a different, obviously a very different ways, we all suffer that kind of violence with repression against the solidarity movement for Palestine in our country, with the repression for increasing the military funding. So I think that one way of also fighting against this violence is obviously joining and being part of the Palestinian solidarity movement.
Mm,
So if you think the risk and then you think the benefits of the victory of the Palestinian struggle, it's obviously so far more important the benefits that a victory of the Palestinian struggle should have for the entire international working class.
mm. Very, very important. What would success look like for you? I think there's been a lot of criticism from people from the other side, who say these missions, these flotillas are largely, just ceremonial. It's just young people, activist people that don't have much to do, that just jump on these boats and then they go and then they come back. There's no real impact. Even the little aid that they have doesn't reach, the people of Gaza. How do you answer to that? And what would success look like for you when all is said and done and you're returning back home?
For me, obviously, most successful way for the Flotilla would be breaking the siege and opening a humanitarian corridor. But I also like to say that that is not a structural solution for the structural problem that Palestinians face. For me, the mainly objectives, a part of that for the Flotilla should be, like I was saying, building a movement that encourages people to start fighting against the genocide and also against the war machine that it's making able this genocide. This flotilla, I think that we have increased and improved in that way. For example, starting doing actions like the other day against the MSC Maya, that was a cargo with materials coming from Israel, and that is part of the war machine that makes able the genocide. So for me, if the flotilla makes people start standing up, the working class standing up, start stopping the industries, start locating ports, start locating industry that is And I think for me that would be so successful because I think that workers have the, the possibility of stopping the war machine because workers don't want to cargos, weapons, or they don't. Workers don't want to continue building weapons. There are no more weapons. So I think a part of trying to break the siege and open that humanitarian corridor is imperative to try to convince workers to stop being part of the war machine and to start creating more complicity with Israel because of the complicity of other European states. Israel wouldn't be able to do what it's doing.
Mm, 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 I think we're going to leave it there for now, Mariona. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be chatting again. We're going to be tracking you guys and trying to get, as much information as we can to try and put the eyes and ears of the world onto the flotilla. I think it's a wonderful initiative, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be chatting again soon. Really appreciate your time. Adios.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, man. There we go. Going to take a quick break, but then, as I mentioned, we're going to be tracking the flotilla as we have. So, continue, subscribe, like, share, all of our media's content so that we are on your algorithm. So that when the flotilla starts gaining steam, we are on your timeline and are you able to see in real time all of the boats and all of the different characters, thousands of different people from all walks of life that are going to be making a part of it. And we'll be bringing you all of the latest regarding the flotilla, as we've always done, live and on your phone at home, the comfort of your own home, and you'll be able to see them, interact with them, and make sure that they're safe, they're seen, and that the world's eyes and attention remains on Gaza. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with you after this.